stress in your life is severely limiting you from achieving ultimately what you want to do in your life. And it's probably going to kill you. What's up, my friends? It's Cletus Coffey, the founder of Be The Torch. If you haven't been to BeTheTorch.com, now is a damn good time to go check that out and explore the movement that we've created, and a movement that for men who have been divorced, or businessmen, entrepreneur-minded, and are single fathers. And it's a great place for you to come and be a part of and work with other like-minded thinkers like yourself. Stress. Stress used to be, and look, this is not anything I've created. I've read about this. I've listened to others, talk about I'm talking hundreds and thousands of years ago, as human beings, like the stressors back then were things like saber-toothed tigers and, other animals that were physically bigger than us. And, those stressors, kicked up our survival mechanism, and we just immediately got a rush of adrenaline and to go into survival mode. And with the idea that once the threat passes, that our survival mechanism, the system starts to go at ease. We can hopefully sleep at night, unless it's still lurking out in the brush. Then we probably still elevated, but ultimately it would go down once the threat has gone away. Now, we don't have saber-toothed tigers. We don't have big animals necessarily in our day-to-day life that are a threat to us. What we have are things like ex-wives, we have jobs, we have children, things that cause stress. Our health that we're not taking care of is causing stress on us, and it never goes away. It just stays this way. So we're constantly at this heightened level of survival when there really isn't a threat anymore in the present moment. I'm not talking about the past. I'm not talking about the future. I'm talking about the present moment. The threat is not there. And so I'll give you a prime example. Like I used to, and if you haven't heard my story, as a former professional athlete, and, I transitioned to life after sport, not knowing really how to go about maintaining the feeling I once had as an athlete into business, into relationships, into being a father. And so I was operating from old, outdated traumas that I learned from society about what a man was supposed to be. From my mother, I grew up in a single mother household, not having my father around as an example of what was possible. And so I found myself in a position where I was learning from what I was seeing and observing, things that were ultimately out of my control. I wasn't taught with the programming that I was given, not until later in life, when I figured out that I can control it and I can take ownership in what I believe in my mindset, and what I consume into my mind. So what I would, just not too long ago, I would be in the shower, and here I am starting my day, getting ready, and I'm worried about my ex-wife and the challenges that we were having in communicating and working together. I'm worried about my kids flowing back and forth and impact that is causing them. I had gotten into a new relationship, which I was not ready for. And that relationship was floundering and struggling. And so I would start every single day in stress, in the survival of, how am I going to get through this day? How am I going to manage all these different things that are going on? Oh, and by the way, I had lost my business. I was broke. I'm trying to figure out how to make some money. And, as an entrepreneur, I'm trying to see where can I solve some problems and where can I be of added value. And all this stress is how I would how I would live my day. And right around that time is when I started to get into speaking. And so I would go to speaking engagements, showing up, trying to deliver under a tremendous level of stress. And you might be finding that in your day, maybe showing up to the office, maybe communicating with employees, with your customers, when you've left the house under stress, and you drive to the meeting or to the office under stress. And then you come home and you're hanging out with your kids. And it's not like, maybe you're in a new relationship, so you maybe have some help and support, and maybe you don't in that relationship, or maybe you're still a single father like me. And I now have to figure out how to put all that stress away and be available and be present for my children. And I know that that's not easy. So ways in which we can help manage that stress, first and foremost, is getting into the present moment. What is real? Is your ex-wife right there screaming at you? Is she, maybe rightfully so, screaming at you? Maybe you don't have your stuff right and together. That's a big piece of it. Maybe you don't have your stuff together and you need to do that. And that's causing you stress because you are attracting that type into your life. And so if you're not right, if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't expect others, someone you have to work with in a co-parenting relationship, to honor and respect and support you if you don't honor and respect and support yourselves. It all begins with you. That's the thing. That's the power behind it. And once you lock in and generate that power, it doesn't matter what other people say about it. It doesn't matter how they're handling situations. Your torch is lit. Right now, it's probably just a little pilot light. And thus you're succumbing to these outside influences. And I don't mean to harp on an ex-partner. I just know that those, for a lot of men, come to me, they say that that's one of their biggest challenges, one of their biggest stressors. And so you got to work with that person. And if they're causing you stress, if they are, you're in a situation where it's you're not working together, first and foremost, you got to get in the present moment and get out of that stress. And number two, you got to focus on you. You got to become the person capable of being in a wonderfully supportive, loving, collaborative, co-parent relationship. And some of you are going, okay, I can see that's potentially possible. And some of you are going, hell no, there's no way in heck I could ever do that with my partner. It's not about them, it's about you. So you need to be able to take care of you first and become a person capable of having a relationship. Whether they respond and reflect back to you, that's on them. But what you are getting from them, speaking reflecting, what you are getting from them right now is a reflection of what's going on for you, how you are behaving, how you're thinking, how you're acting. So if they're acting crazy, if they're being not a very good partner, they're not co-parent, and they're not working together, well, they're reflecting back to you how you are behaving or how you are thinking. So a bit of a tangent there, but I just want to make it two things. Number one, getting into the present moment where the stress is not there. If it is there, then rightfully so, you have a reason to be an elevated survival system. And if so, then you need to figure out a way in which you can get yourself out of that situation. And once it's diffused, you get back to the present moment and reducing that stress. The other thing is your personal power. Like I was mentioning, and I was using a co-parent as an example, or an ex who you share children with. When you were standing in your power, it doesn't matter how crazy they act or how, again, the type of individual that they are, you can't control that. If you're standing in your power and you're owning it, and you are being collaborative, and you are being supportive, and you're being loving, and they're not, well, you can't control them. Well, at least you're doing your part, and you're showing up. And hopefully, who you are is going to reflect back to them. And they're going to be able to see that, and they're going to rise to where you're at. So you got to become it first and show that individual what's possible. The other thing when it comes to stress is you got to take care of your morning. The morning is where it's at. Once you set the tone for the day, once you win the morning, you're gonna own the day. So you got to win the morning, and the morning is taking care of you. I get it. You're like me. I got to shuffle kids to schools and get lunches ready and all that. I get it. However, you have to make time for yourself in the morning. And if you are saying, well, I got to take care of the kids, I got to get to school, I got to hustle to work and all that, right there is a challenge. And it's a challenge that you don't have to subscribe to. You don't have to put yourself in a position where you're hustling around, you got to race to work and you're choosing to do that. So especially as a business owner, you are not an employee. Put yourself in a position where you can own your morning, to give yourself the time to be intentional with your morning so you can own the day. So that's number two is own the morning. And I'd say probably the third element to that is making sure that you are telling the truth. And if you can get to the truth of where you are at and owning that, what are people going to say about you? What stress could anyone, whether it's your customers or your co-parent, ex, or whatever, what can they put on you that you haven't already owned and have truth around? So you got to get to the truth. And this theme follows me with almost all my content because it's so important, so relative. You got to get to the truth. You got to be able to communicate that to yourself first and foremost, so that you can lead yourself to become the person capable of having an awesome, supportive co-parenting relationship. You can have an amazing business that you truly want, a schedule that involves freedom and flexibility. You have to become it first. That is what's truly important. And the stresses that we have now are things that we can help reduce. I get it. We're human. There's a lot of stressors going on. We can be in a position where we can put some action items in place to help reduce that, to take care of us, so that we can be there for ourselves. We can be there for our children. We can be there for our current or future partner. We got to become the person capable of, leading ourselves first, so we can also lead them. So by all means, if you're in a place right now where you're like, man, struggling, life has been chaos and pain, and I'm broken mentally, or I'm broken physically, I'm broken financially, or like I'm cool, but I know I'm playing small. I know I can play much bigger. You need to be a part of the Be the Torch program. That way, when you take ownership and freedom, like today, here I am, I'm on a 10-hour delay in the airport. What do you do when you're delayed 10 hours? You create content. That's what you do. You have choice, and you have the freedom of that. And I want to help support you in discovering that, so you can lead yourself and light the torch that's inside of you. Right now, it's just a pilot light, it's a little candle, but let's illuminate a path to reaching your highest potential. BeTheTorch.com is where you can get involved and join our upcoming groups and programs. We do actually, I have a beta launch of our newest program. You go to BeTheTorch.com and get on the priority list, get your name in there, or reach out for a phone call. Let's get you involved. We'd love to have you be part of the movement. So stress, I know it's out there, and you can definitely put yourself in a position where you can produce that, so you can be present. And when those stress levels are down, when our heightened survival mechanism is brought down, then we're more creative, then we can explore and be innovative and be the men that you want to be. Be the father that you want to be. Lead the business that you truly dreamed of. And most importantly, lead the life that you were designed to lead. All right, my friends, if this is beneficial and want more of this content, go ahead and hit subscribe so you can get more of this content to you on a daily basis.